Welcome back, Awaken Souls. So, today I want to talk with you about something personal, pretty much out of obedience. Um, this video will be the first video in the series on my channel called Becoming Aligned, My Transformational Journey. And this isn't a weight loss series, this is a mindset, identity shift, and alignment journey. I truly believe that when the mind heals, the body responds. As it is above, so it is below. I'm sharing this journey because I felt God leading me to document this season in my life. I'm not because I got it figured out all together, but because I am learning to go deeper into my healing, deeper into alignment, deeper into growing. I'm learning to heal without force, because true transformation doesn't happen by force. It happens with awareness, it happens with compassion for yourself and obedience. And I've been trying to change my body for some time now. Going to the gym, you know, trying to be strategic about what I eat, and I haven't been consistent. I won't lie. I'm not one of those that say I've tried everything, because I haven't. I can just say I most likely just tried what was in my comfort zone. And now I'm being called to go deeper into that journey, more internally, to become more aligned. Because what I'm learning is that transformation doesn't happen by force. It happens through awareness, compassion, and obedience. And this week I've really been focusing on awareness. Awareness of how my thoughts shape my habits, awareness of how my emotions show up in my body. And the one thing that I've realized is that I tend to rush myself a lot. I tend to criticize myself a lot. And then I'm realizing how disconnected I am from my body. And I don't know if that makes sense to you, but it's just, I recently listened to Master Sri Akashna talk about awareness and the importance of becoming aware of your own body, being masters of your own body. And he walked us through like a meditation where we focus on the parts of our body all the way from our toes up. And he asked a question when we got to our stomach, and he said, when you feel your stomach and you're aware of your stomach, do you know if you're full or you know if you're hungry? And like, shocking to me, I realized, I was like, you know what? I really don't know, because I've never really paid attention. And that's when it hit me that like my awareness needs to grow. I need to really become of knowledge of self. I need to work on that knowledge of self and becoming aware of my body. And I realized, I'm like, I'm so disconnected. Where did that come from? And so far what I've found is that I think a lot of it is like I work in healthcare. So a lot of the times you don't necessarily, depending on how busy it gets, you may not necessarily get a full lunch break. And there are times when you're just like grabbing something in between emergencies here and there, and then I realized there are times when, I may actually have not been hungry, but it was like, this is my break time, so I better eat something, because who knows what happens, I may not get another break. So then I realized I brought that home with me, to where like now, even when I sit to eat, I'm like rushing. And I'm like, I don't even have a reason to rush, but I'm just eating like that, just rushed like that. And I'm realizing that part made me realize how disconnected I am from my body. And then I realized a lot of times how the emotions show up, because I'm definitely can say that I've been an emotional eater for a long time, where I eat when I'm upset, eat when I'm happy or whatever. And then when the pandemic happened, I was already dealing with anxiety and depression, and that just like put it on 10. And all I was doing was work home, and I realized like I was just wearing scrubs, coming home in sweatpants. So I wasn't even mentally aware of the changes that were happening in my body because I was just so stressed and I was just in survival mode, and the focus was just to make it through. So this week, when it comes to awareness, I made that a priority to where I can really just take a moment and really listen to myself, really listen to my body, and really understanding what my body needs. So, like, listening to my body to know, am I hungry? Am I full? Do I need to rest? Those kind of things, just to where I can just say, okay, if I'm anxious, what could be going on? What has just happened that has brought this about? Because I didn't realize how unaware I was of my own body. It didn't even make that part didn't even make sense to me because I just figured I'm with my body all the time. Of course, I'm aware of it, but when he broke it down to like that, when he was really pointing out the different things, and then Master Shree actually literally asked, "Are you hungry?" I was like, "Wow." I can't even answer this question, and this should be like one of the simplest questions in the world to answer. And I'm sitting here kind of just like, wow, I can't even answer this question. So for this week, because it's a journey, I move, so the focus is just awareness, because you can't change what you're not aware of. So in becoming more aware of, okay, when I'm hungry, am I going to eat? When I'm not hungry, I know not to eat. And then also focusing on how I speak to myself when it comes to my body instead of criticizing myself. I because I know, life and death is in the power of the tongue, you know, and I have to remember that yes, I may not be where I want to be, but I need to be grateful that I have the body that I have right now to be able to move and do the things that I can do on a daily basis, and speaking positivity upon myself, speaking positivity around me. And those were the two biggest things that I had to really focus on in this journey right now, is just increasing my awareness and really adjusting the words that I speak to myself. I am so grateful for this journey. I am grateful for what's to unfold, and I'm just looking forward to, because God knows his plans. His plans is better than mine. I would have never thought about recording this, but I'm so grateful that he has me doing this, because this is the season of change, season of transformation that is happening. And I encourage you, because I'm also doing this too, which is journaling at each day. When something comes up, start just think, either you want to think about it in your mind or you want to write it down, so that way you can start getting whatever downloads that needs to come for you. Think about what area in your life that you don't feel aligned, and what clarity are you seeking when it comes to that area, and just be open. Like I said, transformation doesn't happen by force. It happens with awareness, compassion, and obedience. And if you're in that season of wanting to change, whether that is your mindset, your body, or your life, just don't worry about trying to force anything. Just focus on alignment. And I'm going to be recording this on a weekly basis. I'll be uploading a video on a weekly basis on things that I've been learning, and things that I'm doing differently, to hopefully to inspire and to help others. And if that resonates you feel called, hit that subscribe button. But I also want you to remember to know that you are not behind. You are becoming. You got this, and don't give up on yourself. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.